welcome to DeFeet World. This is the podcast where we explore the two-wheeled lifestyle. We talk with people whose lives have revolved around bicycles. We look at the culture of the sport and the great brands, and we talk about the machines and gear that are all part of it. DeFeet is a small company of skilled craftspeople located in the Blue Ridge Mountain region of North Carolina, where we've been making the finest cycling socks and accessories for cyclists and the two-wheeled lifestyle for over 26 years now. So as a valued listener of these podcasts, there will be a code mentioned at some point in the show where you can receive a nice discount on your next order at DeFeet.com. That's DEFEET.com. So simply listen along and take note of the code when you hear it. The codes we use in these podcasts, they vary in the time that they're valid on DeFeet.com. So make sure you subscribe and get alerted when we post new shows so you can participate in these offers. All right, so before we get started with today's guest, who, by the way, is a very cool event promoter who has so much experience we can all learn from, I wanted to talk a little bit about the World Road Cycling Championships, which are taking place right now in Innsbruck, Austria. Shane Cooper is the founder of DeFeet. He and I were traveling through Austria and Germany and Switzerland, France, and Italy in July, and we went through Innsbruck. Didn't even occur to me at the time that that's where the World Road Championships were going to be just a few short months later. But here we are. And so this week already, the junior and U23 events have taken place, and it's really been an eye-opening event so far. The course, first of all, if you haven't seen it or you haven't ridden it on Zwift, Zwift is the online stationary cycling app that works with your home trainer. You hook your bike up to it, you open an account, and you're instantly riding with people all over the world. It's just amazing. The course is spectacular, in my opinion. Innsbruck it's stunning visually, and it's a very hard course. There's quite a bit of climbing. It's a selective course, and it also has some really narrow roads and tight corners, a lot of buildings near the finish. And those sorts of things can really help create distance, or at least make riders disappear when riders have small gaps, small leads, or distances between each other on the road. Those sorts of things can really help create distance and create a more exciting race. But tomorrow is the professional road race. Both the junior men and the U23 men's road race, and I did watch the women's. I'm commenting right now about the men's. The women's were in very small groups as well, but both of those men's races were won solo, and that means the lead rider was by themselves at the finish. That doesn't seem to happen that often, and it doesn't happen enough at the World Championship, in my opinion, which should really be a very selective race. But I wanted to talk briefly about the new junior world champion. His name is Remco Evenepoel. He was born in the year 2000. He started racing his bike just 18 months ago. That is astounding. That came after a soccer career where he played for some years. But that is really not a very long time to be riding a bike, to be world champion, even as a junior. But just recently, he won 2 stages. Just prior to Innsbruck, he won 2 stages, the mountains classification, the points classification, and the overall GC in a race in Italy called the Giro della Lunigiana. I raced that race 2 times in the 1980s as a junior. What I can say about it, it's one of the most difficult races. It might be the most difficult junior race that you can do. And it is more difficult in the international junior field that shows up there than any professional stage race or that I ever raced in domestically in the United States. It is incredibly competitive. And anyone who goes on to win a stage at the Lunigiana, let alone win the overall general classification, tends to become a very well-known professional rider, a big name in the sport during the rest of their career. But the way that Evenepoel's career is already pointing, that almost goes without saying for him. Not only did he win the road race at Junior World Championships, but he won the individual time trial World Championship as well. But what I really wanted to mention was his performance in the road race. If you didn't see it, there was a crash. Actually, it was caused by an American rider, it looked like. Overlap of wheels, the front of the pack, caused a big pileup. Evenepoel lost. He had to get a new rear wheel. He was over 2 minutes behind. Usually that's enough to take someone out of a big race like a world championship. But not only did he chase back to the group, but he rode right through the group, straight to the front, pretty much never stopped pulling, caught the breakaway, went to the front of the breakaway, kept pulling, completely ripped the breakaway apart, never stopped pulling, and rode away from the very last rider to stay with him on the final climb without even attacking. It was I've never seen anything like it. The most amazing thing of all to witness probably was the interview that he gave after the race. And this kid, a happy, bright-eyed, super nice, polite, thoughtful kid. But during the interview, it was almost like you got a little window into how his mind works. He recounted everything that happened in the race in perfect sequence. It was like his mind is firing on all cylinders. It's like his body is executing through the bike the sharpness of this kid's mind and imagination. I mean, it is just an awesome sight. And he stated in that interview that his goal for the future is to win a Grand Tour. And he is going to be with the professional team Quick-Step next year. That is a team that DeFeet has been involved with for many, many years. So we'll see. We hope to have Remco Evenepoel in DeFeet socks in 2019. But as for the pro race tomorrow, Julian Ala Philippe, he has to be our favorite with DeFeet. He's a DeFeet athlete from France with Team Quick-Step. And his season has just been spectacular. He's been on pretty much all year, winning the polka dot jersey at the Tour de France for the best climber. But it does seem that this course pretty much tailor-made for Ala Philippe. He is an exceptional climber. He's a very daring descender. The guy from Switzerland who won the U23 men's road race attacked on the descent, the final descent, and got away. Ala Philippe is well prepared for such a move. I think that we're going to see him in the mix tomorrow. He's our pick. He's really exciting to watch. So really looking forward to that. I'll be watching live anyway. So that's enough for that. Just wanted to touch on that. And let's move on now to today's interview. All right, I'm sitting here with Mike Ripley. He's the owner of Mudslinger Events out of Oregon, mudslingerevents.com. And Mike, you run a bunch of off-road events in the state of Oregon, is that right?
I tend to dabble in adventure, so I've been doing it since 1991. Put on 14 events, 9 of which are cycling, 2 gravel, 1 road bike event, the Mudslinger, which is in year 32, Hot Cascades 100, and a bunch of other stuff to unplug people and get them connected.
That's a lot of events.
It's insane. I'm an only child, though, so what else am I going to do, right?
A lot of those events that you named off there, those are like what would the word be for a state when you showcase events? Those are some of the best events. I'm from the state of Oregon, and we associate those brands, those events are brand names that we associate with the off-road scene in Oregon.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I put on the Sister Stampede also. It's just really core cycling fun. We have a lot of juniors, a lot of older people who range from 10 years old to 70. Anybody that has a bike, we put a plate on you to track your body if you get hurt. That's the thing I always try to tell people about mountain bike racing or events, is that just come and have a good day, meet new people.
Don't worry about it, we'll find you.
Yeah, we'll find you eventually. Just crash in a cool spot if you're over in Bend. Know that it'll be 2 hours before search and rescue takes an hour to get dispatched. So just be accountable. Have a smile.
Relax.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully no one needs to use those services very much at the events, but I'm sure it happens.
Oh, it does. I mean, if we don't use them, we get a full refund on our money we pay for them. So we have to use it. So somebody has to go down. I mean, at least once. I'm totally kidding. We get lucky sometimes. People don't get hurt, but a collarbone. It's just the dreaded collarbone that usually gets dinged up. So
until you've gone through one, it can be a little bit alarming. Your first one.
Yeah.
So, DeFeet fits into your planning much, or
DeFeet is my reason to put on events so I can have cool socks, because really it's all about me.
You're too kind.
No, seriously, I love socks, and the event shirt, if it's a quality shirt, great, but socks, people need socks. I only advise to say if you could sell 3 socks to every customer so the laundry doesn't eat one of them, I would appreciate the triple sock option. That would be nice. But I love socks. I think I have 8 events.
You mean 3 socks?
Yeah, sell me 3 socks in one pack. Yeah. I'm just going to lose one.
Good idea.
Wear the hole in them. I mean, what the hell? I've lost it. Now my socks are worthless, Paul.
Just talking to you here, you've had a lot of really good ideas about socks. You've thought a lot of this stuff through.
I love socks, and DeFeet's been a great partner. It's just
we love making them for you. So thanks for being a DeFeet Custom Shop customer. But getting back to the show, how do you feel about this transition to Reno this year? It's an easier drive for you, right?
Yeah, I drove down from Oregon. That was nice. It was quick. I mean, flying down definitely more expensive, but the show, I can find my way around this floor plan. It seems very concise in a decent way.
It does. I'm just liking being in Reno. Reno's changed for the better since I spent much time here. I spent years up in Tahoe and Squaw Valley, and used to come down. Used to be pulling teeth to get us down to Reno, but
well, the roads are way better than back in the day.
Really, way better. And
I think so. I mean, getting
there's
to
just more services, shops, restaurants
definitely.
here.
Yeah,
it's been a great experience. I wanted to ask you something.
Good to see you, and we'll be in touch.
So, as long as you've been doing your events, you've seen a lot of changes. A lot of change in disciplines and types of riding. Where the demand? Are you seeing that cyclists now are just really spread out? Is it so diverse right now that it's hard to get enough people to any one specific event? Do you try not to make your events too specific? How are you seeing these disciplines change?
Yeah, that's a interesting question. I spend a lot of time thinking about how people value an experience. I worked in the restaurant business, so understanding when people come through the door and having a unique view on what they want to achieve by coming to the event. And I don't find that the demographics are actually getting younger in some ways. I've seen that, which is good. This was the first time in the 10 years of the High Cascades that I had all under 30-year-old podium. That's never happened. They're usually 40-some years old for endurance. So we're seeing more crossover.
Tell us how long that event is.
100-miler, High Cascades 100, 10th year, 350 people, max participation, 5:30 in the morning for 70-plus miles of single track in Bend.
Yeah,
and we finished 90.
I've done so much of that single track at different times.
it's
Maybe
beautiful
one day
time
I'll
to
get
together.
out there and do that event.
Well, and the crazy thing is we finished, this year was the lowest injury rate. We got one collarbone and we finished 91% of the people, and we had 63 women, which that's bigger than the national championships. That is a lot of good women that are set up for success. They don't just wing it. Men wing it. Women don't wing it. Women plan for success.
Yeah, women don't.
They're my best customers.
Want to put themselves out there like, oh yeah, sure, I'll go do that event this weekend.
They're the standard. I mean, if you can put a successful event on and give the ladies what they need to be successful, you'll have a good event.
Yeah, that seems to be a smart way to go about it. If the women are happy,
everything's happy.
Yeah, it's just it is a happier event. I like the diversity myself, or I mean events that have a strong female participantship. To me, they're funner events.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and also the newest change for me is to be able to find more ways to get the under 24-year-old crowd into cycling events as a whole, especially from Portland or from an area where they tend to move in a silo.
That's another question that I have. So
yeah.
As a brand, you get a lot of information from different media companies, and now they tell us that those younger cyclists, they don't care that much about racing, and they don't care that much. It's more about social media, and can they share it on social media and so forth. How do you feel about the 24 and younger people right now that are showing up at your events? Do you feel that they carry that spirit of competition, or do they?
No, they don't have the same. They don't have the same. They haven't been given the permission to go to a dead end road in their life. That's the best metaphor. I mean, I've been out in the middle of the woods and I run into logging roads and I go down the wrong, before I had a Garmin. So I was allowed just to go explore. And so it's a little bit of a question mark what they're going to experience when they're coming to one of my events if they haven't been allowed to do that as a kid. And so they need an enabler. There has to be a leader in that age group that is basically taking them out. And most people, some of my events are pretty daunting and hard, so it is kind of a definite enthusiast crowd. Some of my events are easy and no race component, so on and so forth. So it just depends on which event.
Okay, so quick break in the show, everybody, to let you know this week's discount code is PEZ. That's P-E-Z, all capitals, and that is good for 30% off your cart at DeFeet.com until midnight, October 5th. 2018. So hopefully you can make use of that. And back to the show. That's I haven't ever heard it put that way before. You know, when I was a kid starting out junior racing, like in NorCal,
sure.
Sometimes we had 150 kids, 180 kids, and we'd go out maybe on a 70-mile race with. And I don't think there were adults out there. I mean, besides the occasional volunteer at a turn.
Right.
And we would go down, some of the roads were gravel, the twisty, wet mountain roads, point-to-point race. And it felt like an adventure. Yeah. And it felt like we had to take responsibility for ourselves to be there. And I just hadn't heard it framed that way that you put it. What did you say? Given the permission to go down?
Given the permission to go down a dead end road.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always an app for that, right? There's something to bail you out.
Why? But why? Not to get too deep here, but I'm just wondering, why do you think that they haven't been given that permission? Is it just partially because of the dangers in the world now? Their families just.
It's because technology has allowed people to have pretend success. They've been given an opportunity to feel good about themselves and not actually have to challenge themselves. And they've opted out to a great degree of that experience, just by design.
That's fascinating. So I know that the events that you're doing will definitely test people.
They'll opt you out.
They
They'll
won't
opt you
crush.
out.
They won't necessarily crush or break people. I guess they could at times, but I mean they're genuine tests of nature and man that are just challenging. They just seem really fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, most people that come the first time at one of my events, whether it's gravel grinding or anything, it's really not that extreme. It's really about just finding your pace. We mark everything, we feed you, we have medical, we take care of you, we know who you are, we welcome you, and you have a good day on the bike. I have 4 runs and under a different brand, but I love running. Running is like mountain biking or cycling 1992. They just show up and they're playful. That's the way life should be. And I tell people this all the time, events are the last bastion of social interaction. Because you really don't, I have social media, we do video, we do a lot of content to give people an expectation, because that's what they're basing if they're going to come to my event on, is what they see digitally. But the real experience is meeting a new friend and getting to know somebody and lowering that whole, just having a conversation. It's relaxing. Enjoy the day.
Excellent. This show is all about gear, but that's what you're doing is really all about cycling and camaraderie, companionship.
Yeah, friendship.
Yeah.
Because that lasts a lot longer than selling X, Y, Z or doing this. I mean, but rally back, I love socks. And if I could give a massive woolly bully sock to my gravel epic people over on the coast, they love that sock. If it's cold, they'll appreciate it. People are like, cool.
Thank you for being a customer, and thank you for sharing our product with all of your participants. So tell our listeners where they can find you and find information about your events.
You can mudslingerevents.com has my main hub, and then Oregon Triple Crown is my big cycling event every weekend starting in May. Every other weekend, gravel and road, and all road. A bunch of stuff, so you'll find me. I'm connected.
All right. Thanks very much, Mike.
No, thank you.
All right, so that's it for this show, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be posting several new shows that we record at Interbike in Reno, Nevada, and those will all be posted in the coming weeks, so make sure to follow along. So until next time, stay on your bike and stay tuned.